Discussion: unexpected benefits of having a dog. I've had my first dog, rescue, husky mix, 8mo, for about 2 months now. All my life I'd wanted a dog, so clearly I had an intuitive grasp of what the main benefits of dog ownership would be, but there were also some unexpected benefits that took me by surprise. For any lurkers who are thinking about getting a dog, and also out of curiosity to see whether others have had similar experiences, I figured I'd turn these into a post. Unexpected benefits of getting a dog, in roughly the order I experienced them. I recognize and am recognized by my neighbors. I have lived in the same large apartment complex for 5 years now. Prior to getting a dog, I knew only one neighbor by name, and could recognize maybe 3 to 4 by sight. Now I know several by name and dozens by sight. Some were shocked to learn that I've been living in the building for 5 years. We've probably passed each other at home and on the street several times, but now that I have a dog, people recognize me, or rather, him, and we end up in conversation. I'm engaging in a lot more small talk and have more casual acquaintances. I live in Germany, where people don't often engage in small talk with strangers. This has completely changed now that I have a dog. Every day I end up in small talk with at least half a dozen other dog owners, while our dogs greet each other or play, as well as random dog lovers who stop to pet him or otherwise comment on him. Having a dog has made me more social. I've never felt more integrated in my neighborhood. Again, I've lived in the same place for 5 years and always felt quite meh about it. Now that I have a dog, I've realized how great my neighborhood really is. Lots of green spaces, friendly people, walking distance to other interesting places. I also feel so much more at home now that, as per the previous points, a lot more people now recognize me on the streets and in shops. As a woman, I feel safer walking alone at night and living alone in general. I've always been pretty bold and have no problem living alone or walking alone at night, but I can't deny that having a big dog at my side, even though he's a total sweetheart, makes me feel a lot safer. I've been looking for a larger apartment for me and the dog, and felt far safer taking a ground level suite, something I'd never considered before, knowing that I have a big dog to raise the alarm or protect me if someone tried to break in. My dog keeps me grounded in the here and now. I would identify myself as a sufferer of maladaptive daydreaming. More generally, I'm a depressed and introverted person, usually focused on the future and on multiple elaborate what-if scenarios. Having a dog has cut down my daydreaming time dramatically and forces me to focus on the present. If I crawl into bed during the day wanting to daydream or mope, he usually follows me and insists on cuddles and pets. It's hard to lose yourself in a spiral of negative thoughts when you have a dog snuggling up against you or wanting to play. Sometimes my dog makes someone else's day. This is what actually inspired this post. Today on our regular walk we met an elderly couple, probably in their 80s, quite frail. They absolutely loved my dog and wanted to pet him. They told me that they had a German Shepherd when they were younger and that he looked a bit like my husky mix. They were both clearly thrilled to pet my dog and told me stories about this. I could tell that it made their day. I love seeing my friends and neighbors light up when my dog comes to greet them. He's a very cute, friendly fluffy dog who makes friends everywhere he goes, and it makes me happy to see him make other people happy. What unexpected benefits have you experienced from dog ownership? Dog tax. 1. 2. Edit. Or thank you for the awards. 3. I'm glad that so many people connected with this post. I was terrified of dogs from age 2 when I was attacked by a dog to when I was 58 when my neighbors got an 8-week-old puppy. I met her the day they got her and she fell asleep on me for 3 hours. A few days later their shift patterns didn't line up and I puppy sat for a few hours. I've had her 1 day a week ever since. She's taught me patience, tolerance, not to be so controlling, to not sweat the small stuff. That wet dog smell, although gross, is easily got rid of. That small lollipop sticks will safely pass through her. The worst 3 days of my life. That I'm no longer scared of other dogs, but I can't pet them because she gets jealous. That I'll love and forgive her despite her breaking my hand. accidentally, the day before I flew on holiday, that she will put her small body between me and a much bigger dog, because no matter how much I love her it pales into insignificance compared to how much she loves me, that I'll smile every time I think of her, that she brightens and enhances my life, that she'll come to me instantly when I call, except when she's playing on the swings, that she's the kindest dog ever to people, especially children, but she barely tolerates other dogs, that I'm her absolute favorite human despite only seeing me one day a week. I'm my absolute best when I'm with her. Edit. Thank you so much for the awards. That's very kind of you. I'll tell Rosie all about them when I see her on Thursday. My anger issues came up full front when I got my boy. Every second typical puppy thing he did pissed me off, and he'd yell and carry on. At 6 months I realized he cuddled my housemates far more than me. So I did some self-searching to figure out what was wrong with me, that he didn't feel safe. And the answer was stupefyingly easy. He was scared of me. So I turned myself around. I learned how to breathe before blowing up. I started questioning why I wanted him to or not to do something. And if I couldn't answer in any other way than just because, then it was too bad for me. He was allowed to or not to do it. Did he mess up because I didn't teach him well enough, or were my expectations too high? He cuddles me now, and my interpersonal relationships are better, which is just a bonus, haha. Yes to everything you wrote. I know all the dogs and their humans in my neighborhood because of being out walking. One lady in a car stopped me and said, "I always see you walking your dog and he's so pretty." It made me realize that I'm a fixture of my community in a way. The joy of having pets far surpasses the caretaking involved. Here's to always having pets. I visit my family more often. I work odd hours. It's not very consistent and sometimes I have to be gone from early mornings to late at nights. My dog is a husky mix, meaning if she were a normal husky she'd have a ton of energy. But she's not. She's my chill little china girl. Either way, I don't want her alone all day. So I take her to my parents' home, and they happily take her. My brother might be getting a service dog. Previous to China, we thought my dad was severely allergic to pet dander. Now that we know for sure he isn't nearly as allergic as we thought, he says it's barely noticeable. My parents have begun looking into getting a service dog for my brother. All the extra exercise. We get up and walk 2 miles every morning. Then we usually head for a hike or to the dog park after work. I've also met a ton of great people via training classes, pet stores, dog park and on hikes. I'm also pretty sure I could become a certified dog trainer with all the time and money I've spent fixing my dog's reactivity, lol. Probably more of a perk for my next dog. It's all worth it. I love that freaking dog so much. Having a dog really forces my introverted self to get out more and have interactions I wouldn't have had otherwise. I feel 100% more comfortable having him around out in public from both a social and safety standpoint. It also helps me to make goals and challenge myself to do something different than staying in bed all day. We are currently in the middle of an obedience course. I've also booked dog-friendly trips so he can experience the beach and awesome hiking places. I would never do that on my own, but my goal is to make sure he has an interesting and enriched life while he's around. This post really made me think, because I have never even considered the benefits that I received ever since I had my first dog. The only thing that I realized is that people is often scared of him and some tend to keep a safe distance. He is a boxer, and if you don't know him, he can be quite intimidating, although he is a really sweet and friendly dog. Sometimes I feel bad for him because he tends to expect people to pet him, but people rarely get close to him. In regard of what you said about neighbors, I haven't met too many friendly dog owners because most people are afraid that my dog might attack their pets, although that doesn't stop him because every time we go out he manages to make a new friend somehow. But I totally agree with what you said about personal safety, since I'm a very small guy, physically speaking, and I never felt confident enough to go outside by my own. But now, thanks to what I mentioned earlier, I feel that with him by my side I'm protected. Yesterday we were going to the park, and on the way there we came across some kids who were a bit suspicious towards us, and he immediately went so berserk that one of them ran to the other sidewalk. To resume, he is very friendly, protective, and effective towards me and my family. Other than the fact that, as a man, I never felt worried walking around in Milan, day or night, / everything else just spot on. Especially with the lockdowns. I got to know all the small shops. One thing has gotten worse for me. I'm in my 50s and I already lost the parent I loved. I therefore assumed that the next one would be me. Women live longer and children live forever. So death of a loved one was no longer an issue. Since I got Kara, my 14-month Dobby girl, I keep thinking that I will probably outlive her, and the idea already kills me. I dread the day so badly, but it's worth it. 100%. A few years ago we bought an acreage and our neighbor had a dog buddy, a black lab. He hangs out with us all the time and we take him for sleepovers or field trips. He was the reason we got our own dog, Krank, also a black lab. They are about 12.5 years apart. When we took Krank home, he was about 15 pounds, while Buddy was 90. Now it's 75 pounds to 90 pounds. Buddy is so cute and is starting to grey, but he gets bursts of energy and is so playful. He loves swimming and hunting. When we take the boys swimming, he is already in the creek before we barely get out of the car. And then it's impossible to get him to leave, even if he's obviously exhausted. I even got into scrapbooking BC. When we got Krank I wanted to make a puppy book. I've even saved his baby teeth and made a tooth fairy page, among other memories. Krank and Buddy are best friends. They play, nap together and wrestle constantly. I've never had pets before, so I didn't know how much I could love my dogs. The best part of dogs is cuddles. We at first had all these rules like no human food or no dogs on the furniture. But the dogs sleep in our bed, and if we even look at cheese, they are already beside us wondering if we'll drop any. You mentioned having difficulties with depression. This isn't specific to dogs. I experienced this when I found my cat on the street and took him into my college dorm for emotional support. But the point still stands. Having a furry little friend that's depending on you for survival, company, and comfort means that you can't fall into a deep hole forever. On my hardest mental health days, I had to, and still have to, get up to take care of my little boy. He needs food and water, lots of cuddles, and at least a little playtime. Unfortunately he's needed a lot of medical treatment too lately, and the best home care that I can provide. He's doing so much better now, thank goodness, but that's because I stepped up and fought for his health. When we are responsible for taking care of our little friends, we usually end up taking better care of ourselves too. Turns out my boy really is a good emotional support companion. To that last part, I never expected my dog to impact so many others' lives as well. The absolute joy she brings to my neighbors next door was something I didn't expect. They let her get away with so much because they see how much she loves them, and they sound younger when they talk. It's like life is brought into them. All it takes is 10 minutes with her for people to like her at the other houses. Then there are the dogs she is introduced to that may be shy or wallflowers at our weekly dog sessions. She has brought so much confidence out of so many dogs. It's funny because she was the same way, but she's grown into herself the ability to overcome fear and the unknown. One of many examples, my cousin's oldest dog is a very shy and timid dog, and normally only comes out of hiding spot when my cousin is around. But when my dog is around he comes out, and after realizing who it is after a couple of sniffs, he's confident, playful, and owns his territory. I've noticed a lot of the same unexpected benefits too. I've had my puppy almost there months now, and she's almost 5 months old. She is a Chow Staffy mix and a rescue. My mom's friend adopted a dog she had just started fostering and didn't know was pregnant. She adopted out the puppies. Anyway, the most surprising thing has been seeing how active my neighborhood is. Before puppy, I didn't really walk around the neighborhood, and when I did, I rarely saw anyone. Plus, our house is at the edge of the neighborhood, so we only have one neighbor to our left and everything else around us is fields. Now I walk puppy twice a day, so I see how active my neighborhood gets. I've even made a new friend when my puppy and his dogs wanted to play at the neighborhood park. And I speak to an older gentleman who walks by himself regularly. I'm an introvert for sure, but it has been nice when people want to talk to me about how cute my puppy is, or how she looks like a dingo. Ha ha ha. That's the end of the video. Please subscribe and discuss the benefits of having a dog down in the comments section below. Stay safe everyone.